Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of my wonderful and beautiful little subscribers out there. And how I love you all so, and I hope that you're all super duper well, super duper wonderful, and super duper delicious, and that life is treating you most deliciously. So what do we do? 3, 2, 1, my juice little lights. Thank you, little lights. You're delicious and bright, yes. So what's the time, Mr. Wolf? So it's 2:45 in the afternoon on, the 25th of December 2025, my delicious little babies. And yes, it seems that the year is coming to an end, and I hope that wherever you are in the world, that life is treating you most deliciously. And and I certainly hope that you're having a very happy season. Okay, because for myself, everybody knows that I do not celebrate the fake Crimbo. That is just my choice, my delicious babies. I do understand, because it's usually for the little babies. And when my daughters were younger, well, I used to celebrate, with the, well, you know what I mean, because you're usually cooking all day and everything, you know what I mean? My delicious babies, on your flipping feet all day, when it's supposed to be a day of rest anyway, my delicious babies anyway. So what is it that I want to say? Okay. So yeah, so I put up a shorty little video, you're in the army now. Whoa, whoa, you're in the army now. Yeah. And what it is, my delicious little babies, is this is maybe we just need to learn to fold the socks again, but we also need to make sure that, that we're folding them correct. So fold, 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 and then right over. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay? Now then, so that's all nice and tight and secure there. Now then, my delicious little babies, so what is it that I want to say? Yeah, so there's a point, isn't there? Because I never do anything without a reason. And by the way, to any of the uploaders who I advertise or who I leave comments to, can I please wish you all happiness at this time of year. And I hope that you're all having a delicious time wherever you are in the world. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, so what's the point I want to make? So yeah, I'll never ever do anything without a reason, okay? And so what's the point I'm making? So I suppose you could say that there's two armies, couldn't you, my delicious little babies? You could say that there's two armies. So you've got the one army, which is one set, and then you got the other army, which is another set, my delicious little babies, if you follow me. Yes. Okay. So, with all the armies and everything, well, I mean, exactly to whom it may concern, who are they going to keep? I'm wondering if they've made a decision yet, with their army. There we are. My delicious little babies. Do you follow me? Yes. Okay. I am very pleased, however, my delicious little babies, that there's more and more and more, one's got to keep a handle on it. That there's more and more and more marginalistic babies, there we are, who are waking up to this, and realising that, that they do not want their, that doesn't mean yes, that they do not want their sons and daughters, going into year in, year. I mean, do you know what I mean? They do not want them to go, do they, marginalistic babies? Well, I know that I will not. And for my dear daughters and anybody else's dear sons and daughters who I know, they will not either. Because why should anybody fight a war to do with countries, to do with bankers and everything like that? Why should innocent young lads and lasses, who got the rest of their lives ahead of them, why should they have to go and fight somebody else's war now then? Do you see what I mean? My delicious babies anyway. So, right, okay, because I'm doing my video now because I've got some things to do, my delicious babies, today, okay? So I've been up since early, my delicious babies. Now then, so this is the first video, my delicious little babies, okay? This uploader happens to have 1.2 million subscribers, my delicious little babies, okay? On old YouTube, because they're both on old YouTube, okay? And, okay. It is called, this is all capital letters, my delicious little babies. L for Lima, F for Freddie, and R for Romeo. Then a space, and then this is all one word, and it is all capitals as well, my delicious little babies. Family. We are family. I got all my sisters with me. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies? Yes, because if you look at it, we are one. There we are. You and I, one large family, my delicious little babies. And to anybody who views my videos, puts a like and the occasional comments, well, I hope that you are all having the most beautiful and happy day today as well, my delicious little babies, and how I love you also, okay? And I always will, okay? Now then, so this video should read, and it's nearly, or is it, no, it's just over 9.5 minutes long, my delicious little babies. New Zealand, Poland and the UK are fighting back. Okay, my delicious little babies, so I'm just going to repeat this again for you, shall I? New Zealand, Poland and the UK are fighting back, okay. Now, the uploader, and of course, as I always say, with anybody not in that way, okay, he's loving it, he is, on this video, my delicious little babies, okay, because he's showing you the videos, you know what I mean? And it seems in old New Zealand now. Now, I remember, oh gosh, going back years ago now, because my dad loved to, my dear dad, bless him, I hope he's all right, okay? Well, he, you know, he loves to watch the rugby, okay? And, you know, in our old England, okay? And then, you know, and I always remember he called me once and he said, but he has mentioned it a few times, but, you know, over the years. But he said, have you watched the, you know, is it New Zealand, you know, with the Kiwis? You know, they do a certain dance and everything, my delicious babies. Well, you've got these, not the ones, you know, playing rugby and that, but, yeah. But the uploader guy, he's loving this. He said, yes, he said, that's how, you know, there we are. It should be done. There we are. The way that they're doing it in New Zealand, my delicious babies, okay? This is not myself inserting anything with anything in the world, my delicious babies, okay? But you see, what's happening is, it's like if you go onto YouTube, well, I know for myself, my delicious babies, if you go on there, all that I seem to see is either to do with race, to do with, do you understand what I mean, okay? Well, of course, it should never be like this, my delicious babies. It should never be like this, okay? But he's just showing the different short videos about what's going on, you know, in these places, my delicious babies. Now, he also showed, I haven't got as far because I'm only halfway through, my delicious babies, somebody wanting to get into Pearland. And basically, he's told whoever the cameraman is, you know, this one here in Pearland, he said, he says, well, they said that, you know, if he goes past a certain point, they said they are going to hurt him, because it was all in like little writing, if you know what I mean. And then, of course, you know, even to the point where they said they're going to kill him. Okay, my delicious babies, okay, so you can see that many are getting wound up now. I'm still hearing, anyway, so that's a little video to take a look at, my delicious babies, okay? Me personally, it should never get to that point, okay? But sadly, with the world that we're in, and we know who's caused it, okay, in all different countries, martylish little babies. And when they say that things now do not go on in other countries, there we are. Well, that's a barefaced lie as well. Martylish little babies, okay, it's just a different kind of control, you know, which of course are wanting to bring here. Martylish little babies. Anyway, so what else did I want to say? Sorry, I want to say this. So I was looking at this the other day, martylish little babies, okay, you know, to do with Brussels and to do with the you know, to do with the farmers and everything, martylish little babies, oh bless them, you know, not in that way, not in that way. What I never realised was, I think this video was about 36 minutes, something, martylish little babies. Anyway, what I never realised was is that there was some, you know, in a Brussels building, martylish little babies, there was some in there, weren't there? Yeah. I don't think it would have been a very good idea to walk through those doors, martylish little babies, you know what I mean? Not when you got a rock coming at the flipping doors, do you know what I mean? Martylish little babies, kind. And there were parts, okay, I couldn't help but laugh, martylish little babies, right? There were parts where, you know, the tractor, okay, so the tractor was, every time the old Bill in Brussels, you know, they've got their helmets, you know, the little helmets and the little truncheon, they've got the little shields, you know what I mean? There was one, okay, one of the old Bill there, right? I know it's not funny, but it is in a way, right? It's like he was doing this, you know, like you're a goalie, you know what I mean? And you're trying to dodge the rocks. You should see it, Martin. It's just babies anyway. But every time the old Bill went to come closer, this green tractor now was boom like this, Martin. Babies, you know what I mean? Let me tell you. Oh, on that day they just did not ramp, you know what I mean, Martin. Babies. I mean, there was one part of that video, I'm not laughing at this part, where they pulled this little innocent tree out. Well, what has the poor little innocent tree got to do with anything? Do you know what I mean? So I don't know whether it was just through anger or maybe they could have been talking about the old green team. You know what I mean? Martylish little baby's kind, but nevertheless, poor little tree. It got that far, you know what I mean? Then it was, you know, had its roots pulled out, martylish little babies anyway. They may be able to replant us somewhere else. Anyway, then they set a load of tyres on fire. Now, I know that for a lot of the alternative media, they would have watched this martylish babies, but let me tell you, they did not flipping ramp, you know. There we are. They really flipping went for it. And I thought to myself, right, I thought, yes. You see what I mean? I mean, you know, and then, of course, then you'd have another tractor coming along, you know, and emptying out more rocks, martylish little babies. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes. So what is it that I'm saying? All that I'm saying is, it's just a video, martylish little babies, that I'm talking about. But the fact of the matter is, it seems to myself that just joining the dots, you know, when you pee off your population, there we are, before I even say it, when you pee off your population, I mean, after all, I mean, we see a lot with France as well, martylish little babies, you know what I mean? They know how to flipping go for it as well. Do you see what I mean, martylish little babies, okay? But it seems that, I don't know, maybe it's all catching up, you know, all around the world, martylish little babies, you know, because we get back to it again. I mean, everybody's got to eat. Everybody's got to live. Oh, did I hear another video? No, I never clicked on it. Is that to do something about a U-turn with our old England, martylish little babies, to do with the inheritance tax for the farmers? Anyway, I never clicked on it, so I cannot give any more information on that, martylish little babies. All it said is U-turn with the, in our old England, to do with the farmers, martylish little babies, the inheritance tax. Oh, I mean, they shouldn't be taxed to the hilt, should they, martylish little babies? Do you understand what I mean? This kind of a silly business now should not be going on. But anyway, it's greed, isn't it, martylish little babies? There was another video, actually. I never clicked on that one either. Is it 15 brands, very super duper expensive brands, that are, well, basically, it looks like they've had their day, martylish little babies, you know what I mean? Because ones are just not wanting to buy them. Of course, it also said on this title to the video, something about greedy, you know what I mean? I cannot think for the life of me why, one should get so greedy now, considering you look at Indonesia, Bangladesh, China, and Sri Lanka and different places, Martelish look babies, when they work for next to nothing. Do you know what I mean? Martelish look babies, yes. And then you see them in the shop window, 500, ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. You know what I mean? Mad, delicious little babies, yes. But nobody's, for most anyway. Okay, so I do not mean this in a nasty way, okay? But when somebody's buying an item of clothing, they're not always looking at the sweat and labour, shall we say, my delicious little babies that's gone into making that jumper. I've been guilty of it myself decades ago. My delicious little babies, no different at all. But of course, when you learn, there we are, everything that you learn, put it this way, you cannot unlearn it, can you, my delicious little babies? Do you understand what I mean? Yes. That is why you would never ever see me buy super duper expensive, whether it's watches, whether it's bracelets, whether it's rings, whether it's, handbags or anything like that. You know what I mean, my delicious little babies? And there's a reason why I do it. And I do it because why should anybody in the right noddle spend what I regard as, for most, like, myself and others in the world, the hard-earned ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. You know what I mean? Why spend all that? I mean, you can look at the damn thing, but you cannot eat it, can you, my delicious little babies? You know what I mean? You cannot create gas and electric, whether it's a handbag, a pair of shoes, a new outfit, whatever it may be. You know what I mean? So once you bought it, it's like a quick fix. There we are. I've said this before, my delicious little babies. You know what I mean? So once you bought it, unless you're going to use that item all of the time, it's usually shoved in a wardrobe somewhere, my delicious little babies. Do you know what I mean? So I just, there we are, see things for what it is now then. You know what I mean? That's why I've always said I'm just not materialistic. I've spent years, there we are, upon years and years deprogramming myself, my delicious little babies, not to be that way. And it's like today, now for myself, it's just a normal day, my delicious little babies. Do you understand what I mean? But for others, they would have well gone out the way, you know what I mean? Probably, bless, because there's a lot of, your floppy friend. You know what I mean? My delicious little babies probably got into a bit of the old debt, and then, of course, then January comes. January. And then, of course, they're queuing up. Well, that's happened for decades anyway, my delicious little babies. They queue up for hours upon hours, my delicious little babies, to get in the sales, you know what I mean? So it seems, to whom it may concern, and the little lackeys, they're not just happy with ones, getting into all that debt, the fake crimber, but on top of that, they want you to get into more debt using your floppy friend. You know what I mean? My delicious little babies. And no, it's not the other floppy. You know what I mean? My delicious babies, no. Anyway, seriously. Yeah, and then they get themselves into more, unless some who pay off the credit card all in one go. But there's many who very sadly do not. Do you see what I mean, my delicious babies? You got some who use ka-ching cash, so they pay for their items, whatever it may be, cash. But, but then in January, then you've got, on top of that, flipping Easter eggs. I mean, what the effing hell's all that about? This is why I say, there we are, it is so commercial. It's so commercialised, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? And of course, for myself, the only thing that I do, and it's only because like 9 times out of 10, one send myself a fake Crimber card, my delicious little babies. I will send a card, but I'm going to get myself out of that as well, my delicious little babies. It's got nothing to do with being tight or to being selfish or anything. It's just, I just do not celebrate it. If I've got little arts, I can have little arts like this all year round, you know what I mean? And I usually always did. So I don't need to wait for one day, you know what I mean, mad little babies, you know what I'm saying? Yes. So it's like you have to put the tree up, you know. Some are very religious with this mad delicious little babies, you know, religion, you know, causes oh gosh, millions of problems in the world, doesn't it, mad delicious little babies? Well, this is like a religion. Because one's put the tree up, oh, you cannot put it up till a certain date. I cannot remember what date it is now. But then you cannot take your tree down or your trimmings or your lights till a certain date. What's all that about then? Do you see what I'm saying, my little lovelies? Yes? So I'm just, there we are, not being a party pooper. I'm just, there we are, giving a different spin on it. You know what I mean, my delicious little babies? Yes. So anyway, I heard this other man and he was rambling on. It wasn't a long video, my delicious little babies, and he was saying that he went to a rather large supermarket. And what he was saying, my delicious little babies, is that there was hardly nobody there buying anything. So either he's made the video yesterday or the day before, I do not know. But anyway, I never really paid much attention to that. And not being rude or disrespectful, you know what I mean? And he said, well, there's going to be a lot of waste and, you know, there's going to be a lot of, you know, this and a lot of that. And what he said is that, you know, that there's a lot who probably cannot afford, but has anyone stopped to spare a thought that very sadly, especially over these past few years, I know that some do, okay, they do spare a thought. But very sadly, you do not have, so sad, as many dear loved ones, family members, one's friends, one's family members. You do not have as many, do you, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? And I'm sure that they'll speed everything along with the old fake flu, you know, jibber jab season, you know what I mean, my delicious little babies, yes. So, anyway, I thought, well, you know, I'm not even going to bother advertising that because, you know, he's just sounding like, to be quite honest, he was just sounding like a manic depressive, mad delicious little babies, you know what I mean? And I thought, oh, I cannot be bothered. It's only a couple of minutes long anyway, mad delicious little babies. But the fact of the matter is, mad delicious little babies, Kai, there are more now, especially if you look at, I mean, I can say for myself, I do my own soups. You know, I can buy butter, yes, but I make my own butter. There we are. You know, it's all of these kind of things. You see what I'm saying, my delicious little babies? Yes, okay. So you can save yourself. There we are. A pretty ching 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 penny. Do you know what I mean, my delicious babies? Yes, okay. But there could be many reasons why it wasn't so full in that shop. There we are, many reasons for that, you know what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? Because if you're going to go somewhere and, you know, and it's super duper expensive, well, the realisation is that ones that we are just going to want to go somewhere else, aren't they? You know, I mean, come on. I mean, they were doing, mind you, I did hear a farmer talking about this the other day where he was talking about, you know, these, like Aldi was doing it, mad delicious little babies, where you're getting, what was it? Was it 8p for a bag of spuds? 8p for a bag of spuds. 5p for a great big massive of carrots. Well, of course, I bought that, and I bought a cabbage, and I bought some spuds. Okay, because I love my spuds. Okay, so I had 3 bags of those. You know what I mean? 3 bags full and all that. You know what I mean? My delicious babies. Anyway, but I noticed that other things like what I buy regularly, which is cauliflower for my soups, broccoli for my soups, and things like this now then. So those never came down in price, my delicious little babies. My celery never came down in price. So you can see you know, what they put out, and do you see what I mean? Okay, Martelish babies. Nevertheless, if you've got a large family, Martelicious babies, okay, well, that was a really good bargain. But when I listened to this farmer, was it last week? It was a video on YouTube. I listened to Martelicious babies, and what he was saying is that is one big con. And he was talking about the other side of it, Martelicious babies case. So I did get what he was saying there, okay. But yeah, but like, anyway, I was just rambling on. Anyway, mad delicious babies, but bless the dear farmers, you know, for all the sharp that they've been putting up with, very sadly. But it looks like, there we are, the tide is turning. There we are. It is slowly turning, mad delicious babies. There we are. I can feel it. You know what I mean? It's all across my shoulders anyway. So it is turning. Because ones are becoming more and more and more aware. Do you understand what I mean, mad delicious babies? Anyway, this final video for today, my delicious babies. And by the way, just to let you know, when I did that video yesterday, I'm going to repeat this again. I was so flipping cold, you know. You know, because you know, when I took the, you know, I was wearing my dressing gown, my delicious babies, you know what I mean, and I was flipping like this as I was doing the little shorty video. It has gone real flipping cold. And that wins, my delicious babies, because you have got a tiny bit of sunshine, a tiny bit of blue sky, I forgot to say. And it is been really, really windy today, but it's a cold wind. Do you know what I mean? My delicious babies. Anyway, that's the weather forecaster in my neck of the woods, and I hope that wherever you are, that the weather is super duper delicious and beautiful, and that it's better than our weather where we are. My delicious babies. Anyway, so yeah, beautiful little babies, you know. Little Rubes has already had 2 walks today. She's going to be due for another one a bit later. But it doesn't bother her, you know. She's got a fur coat. You know what I mean? My delicious babies anyway. So this one here, this is just over 20 minutes long, my delicious babies, this final video. And this one, I've never seen this one before. Okay. The uploader is called Yardley. There used to be a perfume, actually. You can still get body sprays with Yardley. You know what I mean? And what did I have? One that's Lily of the Valley, one that's like a rose smell. It's like the more old-fashioned ones, you know what I mean? My delicious babies anyway. There's body sprays. Anyway, my delicious babies. And so it's Yardley. So it's capital Y, ARDLEY, space, capital S, ski, as in you go skiing. Who do we know who likes to ski? My delicious babies, they used to do it for decades, didn't they? Wasn't it the fake royal family? My delicious babies, they used to love the old ski slopes, didn't they? My delicious babies, yes. And then space, auditing. Okay, so it's capital A, UDITING. My delicious little babies. Okay, this uploader happens to have 31.3 thousand subscribers. My delicious little babies now then. The video should read, "You have been caught lying, liar, 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 bums on fire, and will forever be on YouTube." Yes, my delicious little babies, I'm just going to repeat that again for you, Shla. You have been caught lying and will be forever on YouTube. Forever be on YouTube, sorry. Now I'm going to close my book, my delicious babies. So we need to go back to where we need to go back to, my delicious babies. Now then, let's quickly discuss. So what this is about, this is somebody who happened to be filming in our Old England, my delicious babies, and he was actually filming a, well, it's a building. And, you know, it's like an old bill, you know, police officers building, my delicious babies, you know, where detectives and everyone, you know, goes to work and everything. And all he was doing was just filming it. So he wasn't doing any harm, not from what I could see on the video at all. He wasn't doing any harm at all, my delicious babies anyway. So some of them, the staff, you know, they came out and you know, explain that they're old Bill, you know, and plain clothes, you know, and they were asking him for a while, you know, why are you looking at building, or, you know, words to effect, why are you filming the building, Martin Schlick Babies? Anyway, and it was just silence for a while. Silence is golden, golden, but my eyes still see. Okay, what year was that song, Martin Schlick Babies, anyway? So eventually they got into a discussion, and one of the old Bill, it seems, went right up to your man here who was filming his camera, Martin Schlick Babies, okay? And he was going, don't hurt me, don't hurt me. But the uploader, you know, who's behind the camera, he happened to be filming it and he wasn't doing any such thing. That's why I say, you know, sometimes Martin Schlick Babies, this is where there we are cameras, there we are, do come in handy, Martin Schlick Babies. Do you understand what I mean, okay? Because the realisation is that you cannot go round telling porcupines like that, can you, Martin Schlick Babies? If somebody hasn't done something, then you shouldn't say that they have. Because very sadly, over the decades, ones have got into trouble for not doing something. Okay, Martin Schlick Babies, and that's the point I wanted to make about that video. So there's always a reason for everything that I do, Martin Schlick Babies. Now, finally, I'm going to get this back out. Peekaboo, 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 peekaboo. This is a really old fishing net, Martin Schlick Babies, that my daughter used to, you know, to catch butterflies, not in a horrible way, just to see them, just to say hello and just to let them off. Do you know what I mean? Martin Schlick Babies, anyway. You know, to let them back out, okay? It's very rare she ever caught one, bless, okay? But yeah, so over the years, so I just hung her up, you know, in the garden, Martin Schlick Babies. But can you see how the net is splitting? So instead of everybody sort of getting in the net, you've got a great big gaping hole. But I'll always keep it, you know what I mean? So I just perch it up, you know what I mean? Martin Schlick Babies, yeah. Yeah. So what's the point that I'm making, Martin Schlick Babies? You know, it's like I heard, was it just over 2 minutes or something, and it was to do with on Fox or something, on older YouTube, Martin Schlick Babies, only just over a couple of minutes long, and it seems that even the well, you know, these news presenters, whatever they call themselves, well, it seems that they were questioning as well, you know, where according to a putrid Elon Musk, that everybody's going to be happy with a universe, or they're all going to be so super duper happy, apparently. But these so-called journalists now, which I do not believe any of them are, okay, they're just more little lackeys, usually slithery little snakes in the grass, lower than a snake's belly. We got them in every country, Martin Schlick Babies, you know, apart from a few countries who know nothing about what's going on. Well, even they seemed a little bit, you know what I mean, sort of questioning things, really, Martin Schlick Babies. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. So maybe not everybody's in the net. Do you know what I mean, Martin Schlick Babies, anyway? So wherever you are, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, please have a super duper delicious time. You only get one life, my little honey bunnies. Sending peace, love, harmony, and bright blessings to each and every one of you. And may your beautiful little selves and your beautiful little families, there we are, all be fully protected, and how I love you all so. You know what? I was saying to myself earlier, I says, you know what I'm going to make? I'm going to make a curry. Martin Schlick Babies. I just fancy a Ruby Murray curry. That's what you call it, Ruby Murray curry. Okay, Martin Schlick Babies. Now then, that's all I want to say. Marvelous look baby. I could say more, but I'm just going to leave it for now. There was another video that I put up actually, but there was only 2 views for that. But whoever watched it, you know what I mean, they would have got everything what I was saying. That one I took down. Okay, Marvelous look babies. I said quite enough on one video, with all the items that I had in front of myself, you see what I mean? But at the same time, one's just got to remember the old batteries, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? So please have a super duper time. Please take care of yourselves now. Please try to take care of others. Peace, love, harmony, and bright blessings to each and every one of you. How I love you also, okay? So you just look after now, okay? Thank you once again for listening. Peekaboo, peekaboo. Goodbye.